Hey everyone! Welcome back to Fluent Vibe Podcast, the place where confidence grows one conversation at a time and where learning English feels natural instead of stressful. I'm Ria, and today's episode is honestly very special because we're talking about something millions of people struggle with silently: fear while speaking English. Hey everyone, I'm Ethan, and I'm really happy to join Ria today. And honestly, this topic is much deeper than grammar or vocabulary. Exactly. A lot of people understand English. They know words, they study grammar, they watch videos in English, but when it's finally time to speak, their mind freezes completely. And suddenly, thoughts become, what if I make mistakes? What if people laugh? What if my pronunciation sounds bad? And that fear becomes stronger than the actual conversation. So today, we're not only talking about English learning, we're talking about confidence, fear, overthinking, and how to train your brain to speak naturally without panic. So relax, take a deep breath, put your headphones on, and let's begin this journey together. First, let's understand something important. Fear of speaking English is completely normal. Seriously, almost every English learner experiences this at some point. Even people who speak good English sometimes feel nervous. Because language is emotional. When humans communicate, they're not only sharing words, they're sharing identity, confidence, personality. And when people can't express themselves smoothly, they often feel insecure emotionally. Especially when someone understands English mentally but struggles speaking out loud. That feeling is frustrating, honestly. A lot of learners think, I know English, so why can't I speak confidently? And the answer is simple. Understanding a language and speaking a language are two different skills psychologically. Listening is passive, speaking is active. Your brain needs separate practice for both. That's why some people understand English movies perfectly, but still panic during real conversations. Another huge reason people fear speaking English is overthinking mistakes. Yeah, some learners mentally check grammar every second while talking. And that destroys fluency immediately, because the brain cannot communicate naturally while analyzing every sentence deeply. Imagine trying to dance while overthinking every foot movement. You become stiff. Language works similarly. Confidence grows through comfort, not perfection. And honestly, most native speakers don't even speak perfectly all the time. People make small mistakes naturally in every language. The goal is communication, not robotic perfection. One of the best ways to reduce fear is changing your mindset about mistakes. Instead of thinking mistakes are embarrassing, think mistakes are proof I'm practicing. That mindset changes everything psychologically. Because confident speakers are not people who never make mistakes. They're people who continue speaking even after mistakes. Exactly. Fear becomes smaller when speaking becomes normal daily behavior. That's why daily practice matters more than rare motivation. Even speaking English for 10 minutes daily helps the brain adapt slowly. Now, let's talk about one powerful trick: thinking in English. Most learners first think in their native language, then translate mentally into English. That process creates stress and delays speaking speed. Fluent speakers usually think directly in English, and you can train your brain to do that gradually too. Start with very small thoughts. I'm feeling tired. I need coffee. The weather looks beautiful. Simple thoughts, simple English, but repeated daily, they slowly rewire language habits inside the brain. At first, it feels strange, honestly, but eventually your brain adapts naturally. Another thing that destroys confidence is comparison. Yeah, a lot of learners compare themselves constantly with fluent speakers online. And comparison creates insecurity immediately. Remember, fluent speakers spent years listening, practicing, and making mistakes too. You're seeing someone's final result, not their awkward beginning. Trust me, every fluent speaker once felt nervous speaking too. Another huge reason people fear speaking English is embarrassment from past experiences. Maybe someone laughed before, maybe a teacher criticized pronunciation harshly, maybe classmates judged mistakes. Those experiences stay emotionally inside the brain, and later fear returns automatically during conversations. That's why emotional healing matters in language learning too. Please remember this carefully. Making mistakes while learning a language is completely normal. Nobody learns fluency without awkward moments. Honestly, awkward moments are basically part of the journey. Now, let's talk about confidence-building habits. One of the best habits is speaking to yourself in English. Yeah, it sounds funny initially, but it works surprisingly well psychologically. Talk about your day, describe your plans, explain your opinions out loud. This reduces hesitation because your brain practices active sentence formation regularly. Another powerful method is shadowing. That means listening to native speakers and repeating immediately with similar pronunciation and rhythm. At first, it feels difficult, but it trains speaking flow naturally. And honestly, listening is deeply connected to speaking confidence. Because the more English your brain hears, the more familiar English feels emotionally. Familiarity reduces fear psychologically. That's why regular English exposure matters so much. Podcasts, movies, conversations, interviews. Even hearing English passively helps your brain adapt slowly. Another important thing is stop trying to sound perfect immediately. Confidence grows through communication, not imitation perfection. Accent matters less than clarity, honestly. Many learners become insecure about accents unnecessarily, but understandable English is much more important. Different accents exist everywhere anyway. British accents, American accents, Indian accents, Australian accents. Even native speakers sound different from each other constantly. So don't let accent fear stop your progress. Another huge confidence killer is negative self-talk. Some learners constantly think, "My English is terrible, I'll never become fluent." Those thoughts damage confidence deeply. Instead, think, "I'm improving daily, I'm learning step by step. Mistakes help me grow." Your brain believes repeated thoughts eventually. Another useful trick is recording yourself speaking English. At first, most people hate hearing their own voice honestly. That's true, but recording helps you notice improvement over time. And improvement creates motivation naturally. Another important thing is learning phrases instead of isolated words only. For example, "To be honest, at the end of the day, that makes sense. I totally agree." These sentence patterns improve conversational confidence faster because the brain starts recognizing natural speaking structures automatically. Now let's talk about social fear. Many learners panic specifically while speaking English in front of others. That happens because humans naturally fear judgment socially. But honestly, most people are not judging your English as harshly as you think. Everyone is usually too busy worrying about themselves, and people often respect learners trying to improve. Confidence grows when you stop chasing perfection and start accepting progress. Another useful method is joining English conversations gradually. Start small. Short conversations, simple replies, basic interactions. Then, slowly increase speaking time as comfort grows. Remember, confidence is built through action, not waiting endlessly until fear disappears completely. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is speaking even while feeling nervous. And trust me, every conversation makes the next conversation easier psychologically. Another thing learners forget is celebrating progress. People notice mistakes quickly, but ignore improvement completely sometimes. Understanding one new sentence matters. Speaking confidently for 30 seconds matters too. Small progress becomes big fluency eventually. And honestly, fluency is not magic. It's repeated exposure plus confidence plus practice. Your brain slowly adapts every single day you practice.
One day you suddenly realize you replied naturally without translating mentally. That moment feels amazing, honestly, but it happens through consistency, not overnight motivation. So if you're listening right now feeling insecure about your English, please remember this carefully. You do not need perfect English to speak confidently. You only need courage to start speaking imperfectly, because fluency grows during the journey, not before it. And trust me, your future fluent self will thank you for not giving up today. Thank you for spending this time with us today. This was Fluent Vibe Podcast. I'm Ria. And I'm Ethan. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep speaking without fear. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye from Fluent Vibe Podcast.